My doctor even said to me, "Oh, you have such a pretty face."
And how old were you when they said that to you?
Maybe 16, 15.
But you're identifying like you're overweight, but you have such a pretty face.
This is something I'm super passionate about because the food noise for me, like, always there, like even after surgery.
My brain was clear. I had none of this food noise. I wasn't waking up thinking about, you do not know my story. You do not know anything. So you can just go kick rocks.
Jessica.
This is Jessica Lynn White, telehealth expert, founder of KinMeds.
And this is something I'm super passionate about because the food noise for me, like, I was diagnosed with binge eating when I was younger, probably late teens. So it's always there, like even after surgery.
Let's pause. Let's talk about binge eating briefly, and let's talk about what's food noise.
Food noise is when you wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm going to have whatever for breakfast, and I'm going to have this in another hour, and then at lunch I'm going to have this, and then like, oh wait, I'm bored. I'm just going to, those look really good. Like, I need those pretzel. Literally, it's constant 24/7 in your head about food. Like, asking like what's coming next.
Okay.
Even if you're not hungry.
You're just constantly planning what you're going to eat next.
All day, every day. So yeah.
So you got diagnosed
with binge eating when I was in the process of getting approved for my weight loss surgery.
So who diagnosed you with
my therapist? I had to go see a therapist before you got approved for surgery, and she's like, yeah, I think you definitely have binge eating.
What is binge eating?
Binge eating is when you can like eat a whole pizza at once, or eat like just a bunch of food in excess at once. Okay. And like some
even
people,
when you're not hungry.
Even when you're not hungry. Like, I never felt hunger, honestly, because I was always eating.
Oh,
really, truly. And some people will do like binging and purging. I never got to that point, like where they make themselves throw up. I never did that. But if I didn't change my life, that could have been something that
could have been next.
Yeah.
So when you had your gastric sleeve surgery, you lost a bunch of weight. The food noise was still there. And then you found yourself where?
I found myself gaining weight back, and the food noise was there. I was still eating. I knew what, like, we all know what we're supposed to do. Like, we all know what to do, right? But it's not that easy. It's not easy because it's in your brain that, like, you need all of these things all the time, this food all the time. So I found myself being like, the restriction was gone. I mean, it wasn't all the way gone. I was still eating less than I was when I was 300 pounds, but I was starting to increase my calories the longer I was away from surgery. And
so
then
it was kind of like a hall pass. Like, I had the surgery, so I could eat whatever.
I don't know. Yeah. And then, so then I was like, okay, well, I had surgery. I'm not going back. Like, I'm not going back. So my primary care at the time put me on Ozempic or a GLP-1 first, right? Ozempic. Okay. And that was fine and dandy, good. Then until my insurance decided to not cover it. So my insurance covered it for like a good year, I want to say. So I was like living life. I was losing the regain that I gained. I was just doing amazing, feeling good. And then January 1st came and they're like, sorry, just kidding. You're doing so good, but we're supposed to stop.
Because there are qualifications. So you have to have.
So they changed it.
Typically, some BMI, usually 27 or 30 or above.
This was the diabetes one thing.
You have to have a comorbidity, and comorbidity means some kind of diagnosis, like diabetes or something else that justifies. So this might be a good kind of segue for what are GLPs and GLP-1s. So these GLP-1 medications, the semaglutide molecule was originally developed for diabetes, and it was found to have a profound side effect of weight loss. Like, everybody that was on it had weight loss. It is FDA approved for diabetes. The generation 2 GLP-GIP, or the active molecule is tirzepatide, was specifically formulated for weight loss, and it is FDA approved for weight loss. And it hits 2 hormones. So GLP-1 hits 1, GLP-2 hits 2. And there's another medication coming out, retatrutide. It is already out in category 2 peptides, meaning it's not FDA approved yet. It's in FDA trials, and it's suspected to probably be approved late this year, 2026. So for you, you got booted off your insurance.
Yep.
And you were like, what?
What
am I going to do?
I just kind of was like, I mean, at this point, my insurance denied it. And then I was working full time as a nurse. And because this was before I was an influencer for you. And I was making content, a content creator. I got fired from my nursing job because of content that I made. That's another story. So then I was jobless. So I really couldn't afford the GLP. They were like over, like they had $1,000 a month at this point.
Right.
Because at one point when I was working, I was like, all right, we'll figure it out. We can work it out, right? But then I lost my job, and I was like, well,
I need an option that's more suitable for my
affordable.
budget.
Yes,
and
exactly.
my family. So then you found us, or we found
yes,
you.
Well, actually, it was a good 6 months before I even found you. So when I stopped the medication, at first, the first month I was fine. You know, I was okay. But then the longer I was off of it, the more I would eat.
So it just escalated.
Yes. So I'm an advocate for someone who will always be on it, even microdosing, because it doesn't just help my food noise, it helps my like relationship with food.
Right.
Because I can go and eat like a cheeseburger and be happy about it because I'm not eating 3 cheeseburgers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now, and it just wasn't, it's not just weight loss for me.
Right.
And I always try to say that because, like, it's not, yes, of course, we all want to be smaller, but I'd rather have my health, my mental health with food better.
Very well said.
Welcome back to episode 4 of Cheat Code. I'm Jessica White, the founder of KinMed's online GLP-1 weight loss and wellness telehealth. I am with Jess. She is a registered nurse. And this episode, I want to talk with you that you had gastric sleeve
Yes.
surgery.
Yes.
And I want to talk a little bit about the pretty face. Okay.
Yes. So when I was, ever since I've always been heavy as a kid and everything.
Hold on. What does that mean? I've always been heavy.
Well, I've always been overweight. I was always an overweight child. And my doctor even said to me, oh, you have such a pretty face. And that was
you're fat.
Well, that's what I feel like they're insinuating.
And how old were you when they said that to you?
I was it was in high school. So maybe 16, 15, 14.
So this was a visit where the doctor's talking
it's
with
like
you.
your normal, like regular
but you're
checkup.
identifying like you're overweight, but you have such a pretty
You have
face.
such a pretty face. You could be a model. That's what they would say.
And how did that make you feel?
I mean, at the time I was like, oh, thank you. I have a pretty face. But I'm like, it's just like a backhanded compliment.
Right.
And I feel like that gets said to a lot of women.
Right.
Like that are...
And it stayed with you for
your
whole adult life.
Yes. And
we've
more
talked
than one
about this.
person has said it to me. So, yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Like when people say that? Like, am I just my pretty face? Am I not?
Exactly.
Jess?
It doesn't matter. Honestly, I could have... It shouldn't matter what anybody looks like. Like, if you don't know me, you don't have a right to say, I got a pretty face or a pretty butt or whatever. Like, just, I'm me. And I might be a little puffy one day, and that's fine. Who cares, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So it really stuck with me. And I never wanted anybody to feel, like, I have 2 girls. I don't ever want someone to say, oh, you have such a pretty face. And if you haven't had that compliment to you and been overweight and have had that said to you, you don't really understand it. But I'm sure all of these ladies here have probably experienced the same thing, where someone has been like, oh, you have such a pretty face.
You're so pretty, but.
Yeah. Then they don't say the but it's
that's
there.
essentially what's
yeah,
there.
it's being,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
you're a registered nurse,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you decided to have gastric
Sleeve.
sleeve surgery, which you had said is they removed how much?
80% of your stomach.
You had to go through all these loopholes and do the song and dance to get this approved by your insurance. How
Yes.
long did it take?
About 9 months.
Okay, so you finally got it approved.
Yep.
Was there a moment where you were like, do I want to do this?
Yes and no, because I had researched about this for years.
Okay.
Like my generation grew up watching The Biggest Loser, watching all of these transformation, My 600-Pound Life. Like literally, we watched this growing up, and I would see these crazy transformations, especially with people that have had weight loss surgery. And I knew I didn't really want to have the bypass because that's like you have a very high risk of nutrient deficiencies, right? Because it's malabsorption is partially why you're losing weight. And I didn't want to do that. And I couldn't do that because I also have Crohn's disease. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I forgot what you asked me. Sorry.
Well, it's okay.
Sorry.
We both have ADD.
We do.
So I asked you like how it made, like if you thought about that before. So you said you did some research.
I did a lot of research for many years.
So you had the gastric sleeve. How much weight did you lose?
Over 100 pounds.
In how long?
Under a year, 9 months.
Okay,
maybe?
so you were finally where you wanted to be.
Close, yes.
Right, and then insurance stopped paying. Oh wait, no, we haven't even gotten to GLPs.
Yeah.
So you lost the weight, and then
you
had regain.
I had regain because how the VSG is a shorter name for it. The sleeve, you're restricted, right? Because you go from your stomach being this big to this tiny thing. So you were eating less naturally. But the longer and longer and longer I went out from surgery, the more it was easier for me to eat more and go back to bad habits.
Would you say that like your stomach kind of accommodated, went back to a bigger size?
I don't know if that's actually what can happen. Scientifically, I don't know, but I think it had to have.
Yeah. So because you had gastric sleeve surgery, you lost a lot of weight over a year, and then you had a regain.
Yes.
And then you looked for GLPs to help you.
Yes. That was when GLPs were just coming up to the market. It was popular. And I was like, why don't I give it a try, right? And see how it works. And
you went through your insurance.
I went to my provider, my doctor, and my insurance covered it. So I'm like, why not? And it was amazing. I didn't expect it to help me as much as it did. And
what did it do for you?
My brain was clear. I had none of this food noise. I wasn't waking up thinking about what I'm going to have all day to eat for snacks or this or whatever. And I was able to actually like get up and eat because I'm hungry and not because I just want to eat.
Right.
And I like never felt hunger before. It's so weird to like explain, but for someone who would eat all the time, literally all the time, all day.
So you were just like snacking, eating.
So I wouldn't feel hungry. I just would eat.
Wow.
But then the GLP-1s came and I was like, oh, it's like, we've all been there. I'm going to say it. It's 3:00 and I haven't eaten yet. We've all been there.
Right.
But
taking GLPs.
Yes, exactly.
Because what GLPs do is it slows your stomach emptying. So it makes you feel fuller longer, and it makes you feel satiated or full.
Yes.
So when you made the comment, it's 3:00 and I haven't eaten yet, you're kind of, nodding your hat towards when you do have a GLP-1 in your life, you find that your appetite is suppressed.
Yes, and I'm not thinking about the food either because I was eating before when I wasn't hungry. I was just eating to eat.
Right.
Now I'm not thinking about food in a sense where I'm like, I want. I'm thinking of, okay, it's lunchtime. I need to have some protein.
Right. I need to eat.
Yeah, I need to eat to live, like not live to eat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What would you tell someone that said having gastric sleeve surgery, failing, having regain, and then going on GLPs is a cheat?
Well, people say that all the time, and I just would like to
speak freely.
Honestly, you cannot say anything to anybody if you have not walked their shoes. So even any of these girls, even you, like your story's different than mine. Paige is different. Everybody's different. So for me to say to somebody or someone to say to me that it's cheating, you do not know my story. You do not know anything. You do not know anything about me. So you can just go kick rocks. That's what I would say. I'd say something else, but
we're going to keep it PG.
We're going to keep it PG.
Thank you, Jess.
You're so
for being
welcome.
on this episode of Cheat Code.
Thank you.
And We love having you on our team. Join us for our next episode coming up soon.